Hi, it's Jen from Shabby Fabrics, back with the Door Banner Club from Riley Blake. They are putting these projects together each month, package them beautifully in a beautiful, sturdy box. If you haven't grabbed your spot in this program, just push pause on this video and head over to the website right now. I heard the great news this morning. There are a few spots remaining. Grab that. I called Riley Blake and said, can we order more? There's a lot of demand. And they said they don't have additional kits. So what we have is it. And if you're already in the club, awesome. And if you're not, grab your spot and then keep playing that video, because today we're going to talk about the Door Banner Club for May. Flowers for Mom. We all know Mother's Day is in May. So let's just look at the project. It's really quite straightforward in that we're making a flower block 3 times. We have a rectangle here, and here, a piece of sashing, sewn that together, and then we're off to quilting the project. And if you are just now joining us, go ahead and head back to that first video. I talk a little bit more about the backing. We have lots of binding options. I've also filmed a video on multiple different approaches to binding. You can choose your favorite method. For this particular month's project, there's a lot of little pieces. Riley Blake is recommending grab some stickers and label some fabric. We took that advice and we're very happy we did. Some of those pieces are so minorly different than another piece of the same fabric. It would be very easy to mix those up. So grab the stickers, get things cut and labeled. For sure, we were very happy we had a fresh blade in the rotary cutter because we were definitely making lots of cuts. We added sizing to our fabric, pressed everything out, and then got started cutting, absolutely using our seam guide to hit that 1/4 inch seam allowance each time. So let's just take a dive into the pattern. And we're starting off really with this portion. Let me just show you where we're going. You have an upper portion and you have a lower portion. And of course, we'll be just unpacking how do we put that together and this together, and of course, sewing the 2 pieces together. That's the easy part. But how do we get to this? So we'll start with that. So we have some very small pieces, as I said, and labeling them was golden. So let's just take a look here at this upper portion. That's where we're starting. So we have our piece N, and we have our piece B and C. And notice they're different sizes. That's what's giving us more white on this side and less white on that side. So as you would expect, you're just going to grab a straight edge. You're going to draw a line from corner to corner, do the same corner to corner, and sew on that line. So let me just show you that real quick. That's what we did. No big surprise there. And we're going to press to the white. This reminded me of something. Riley Blake added an extra cutting diagram for you with the lime green fabric that is inside that kit. We found that to be very helpful. Otherwise, you might end up running short of fabric. So I definitely want to call your attention to use that, to be very intentional about cutting that fabric per their instructions. So getting back to this, we're just going to press to the outside both times. And we always make sure that after we press, we're trimming away that bulk. We know that with patchwork, piecing, we always want to trim away anything extra because it could interfere later on with us trying to really hit certain points. There's enough bulk going on without leaving extra fabric inside our patchwork. So that's why we'll be trimming this away. Once you have that, that's this side. So as we look at this side, same idea. It's just that now the larger square comes to this side, the smaller square comes to the left side, and again, we're going to be drawing the lines and sewing on the lines. And that is going to create this side over here. For the middle portion, easy peasy. It's a slightly different size. So It looks very similar. Remember how I said you needed to mark your fabric, label your fabric? Look at the two sizes. Look at that. This is piece N, as in Nancy, and this is M for Mary in the middle. So all we did here, square, square, draw the line. What's going to be different about this one, however, and is going to be giving us interlocking seams, is that instead of pressing to the white, we're going to press actually to the pink. How are we going to do that? I'm just going to actually roll this back all the way to the back and press. You'll see why we're doing this. As an early quilter, I did not realize the importance of pressing. I'm like, however you want to do it works. Well, if you want your points to come out, you always want to be striving for interlocking seams every time. It helps make those precise points possible. Now we'll go ahead and trim away the extra. That's still a step we're doing. That's not going to be different. But by pressing that middle piece, this middle portion, to the pink, what that did for us is when we get ready to sew this next piece right next to it, look what happened. The white is pressing here on this side, and on this side, the pink is pressing this way. We have an interlocking seam. Now that means that it just clicks in beautifully. So 1/4 of an inch, and we'll show you how we pressed on the back. We pressed that open. So the other one on the other side and press open. This is the unit you will have. That's the upper portion. So let's get this cleaned up and let's move down here. And you're probably already seeing it's pretty straightforward. We'll start off with the left and the right, and then we'll do the middle. Same concept. We're starting off with our rectangle. We have a square, draw the line, sew and flip, right? Up in this corner, diagonal, sew on the line, and we went ahead and pressed toward our white and toward our pink here. So let's see if I've got that one ready for us. That was sewn. In fact, let me just press that out and I'll trim that so you're seeing that in real time. Pressing to the white, pressing to the pink. So this is what we have. It's always good to take a visual track. Did I get that on the right side? Yes. Take it back, trim, trim. Now we have this portion. That portion. Same thing on the other side. No big surprise there, right? Pressing to the white, pressing to the pink, that's on this side. Just like what we did here, we're going to press inward so that we will achieve interlocking seams. Let's just look at that. Here's the middle, draw the line, press toward the inner portion, the light pink, do the same thing here. Here's what that looked like. We sewed one on and pressed toward the light pink, put the other one on. We're going to press a lot of pieces. You're like, oh yes, labeling that was a good idea. Yes, you were right. A lot of little pieces running around. Let's trim away that bulk. Right, pressing back. So that's what that looks like. So now, since that's the same thing, right? So I'm going to just put that aside. Now when we get ready to assemble this portion, just like we experienced in the upper portion, when I place these two pieces right side together, there's the click. Seams going this way, this seam's going this way, right there. There it is. Incredible. Hey, I haven't had a chance to sew today. I'm just going to go do that. I want to show you how this very intentional, thoughtful pressing of seams produces a phenomenal result. I'm going to use my seam guide to keep me true to my 1/4 inch. When we warm up seams, they're more pliable. So let's press that open now. It's more likely to move in the direction of our choice. And let's take a look at what we've got here. Let's flip that over. Look at that. It comes out just beautifully. Then, of course, here comes the other one on the other side. Again, right side together. This seam's moving this way. This one's moving this way. Have I made a believer of you yet? That pressing is really key. Interlocking seams are key to getting those points to come together. Again, pin, sew until you have the lower portion. And I'm going to sew that together because I want to show you some pointers of how to line the top and the bottom up so that these come out beautifully as well. So let me go ahead and get that sewn. I'll press that open. And let's join the top to the bottom to create the upper portion of our flower. We'll let that sit there while I trim a few threads. And we can talk about just lining things up, what you're kind of looking for to get everything hitting as you would expect. One thing I wanted to point out to you and I discovered is I'm so used to when a quilt block is finished, there's a nice sharp point. Let me point out something to you about this particular block so you're not thinking, oh, I must have done it wrong, because I already thought that. And I was like, oh, no, that's how they designed it. Notice how there's no point, right? That's sewn in. And right there in particular, when that didn't come to a sharp point, I thought we did it wrong. It's not. It's how they've designed it. So you will not have a exact point there. And that's what kind of softens the flower. So we know that normally we're expecting that to be the top, not this case. So as we work on assembling the upper portion, one thing to be looking for is you want to stack them just like this. And I'm looking from the top down to make sure those pressed open seams are stacked right on top of each other. And I'm going to pin from this side so nothing moves when I sew that together. Get the next place you care about most, that next point, pin, and then you make the rest of it fit. Here and here. So now we have this. Of course, we're going to press open to evenly distribute that bulk, right? You can see that our points came out beautifully. We press that seam open and we have the upper portion of our flower. Let's talk about our lower portion. It's basically the left half, the right half, and then the middle portion. So we have our 2 greens, right side together, 1/4 inch seam allowance, press this vertically. And when I say press vertically, it just seems like you get less of that rainbow effect. I don't know if you've ever done strip piecing and you iron it and it kind of has a slight curve in it. It seems like when we place this on our pressing mat, ironing board, whatever you're using, and press vertically, for whatever reason, it seems to reduce the bowing. If anyone knows why that is, would you please put that in the comments? I don't know if it's the natural action of our arm wanting to do this, whatever that is, we're going to press the seam open. Now that we're here, let me show you where we're headed. This is basically what we're going to create. Looking at our pattern, we're going to take our piece and we're going to, oh, I need to have my dark on the outside, don't I? Oh, that's something to be careful of. I notice it could go either direction. Doesn't matter really, but just be consistent with your flower, with your stems. So we need to mark that from this corner to this corner, and I can't really see that. You can slide down though and still mark that from corner to corner and simply put it in position. You're going to sew on that line, and down in the corner here, piece D, same story. We're just going to draw the line, sew and flip, right? So that's kind of what we've been doing, is sew on the line, press upward, sew on the line, press, and trim. You'll have that for your left unit, and you simply repeat that for the right-hand side. And so I've done the other one. It's the same concept. Just be mindful that you're following the instruction inside the pattern. This one's for the left side, this one's for the right side, but they're made the same. Middle portion, easy peasy, right? You've got your just straight middle portion. You have your strip, they snowballed the corner. No big surprise there, right? We'll just press that, show you that, and trim, and clean that up, clean these up, trim. There's a lot of pieces. Sometimes these blocks they're not difficult. You know what it is? Staying organized, getting those labels going, and staying organized so you know you're not going, which piece is this again? So you can flow right through the project. So we have this, of course, right side together. So your quarter inch. Let me show you how we press that, just like that. A lot of things being pressed open. And then as we have our center here, you can see that we just placed right side together. You're pinning left to right, making sure everything fits. Quarter inch seam, pressed open, we did the same. Once you have this portion, now you're on to sewing these together. That's what we've all been waiting for. You can see really though, there aren't any places where you actually have a seam in common. So at this point, my strategy is simply pinning to the left, to the right, and making everything else fit. That's it. I'll pin in the middle. We have to sew this together. And let's go sew that. And let's see our beautiful flower here. Warm up that seam. And I can see right now, my seam actually wants to press downward. Go with it. Go with it. Go with whatever. Sometimes it's so obvious, the fabric just tells you. Go with it. There isn't an interlocking seam to achieve, so I'm going to go with that. I like that. And let's look at our flower. And there we have our beautiful flower, and we're going to make 3 of those. As I said, this section here, rectangle, another portion here, you're just following the pattern to put all of that together. Then you're off to quilting, you're off to binding, making your hanging sleeve, and everything else you want to do with this project. Thank you for joining me today. I'll say it again, if you haven't not already grabbed a spot in this program, I hope there's one for you. And if there's not, know that we'll be looking for the next program that Riley Blake will be offering. They generally offer a program every year, and we'll actively be looking to be able to participate in that. So thank you so much. Subscribe if you haven't already done that. And I look forward to seeing you next month as we continue our Door Banner Club.